We don't know who's been infected, but someone here is not what he or she appears.
I've spent my entire life hiding this, Captain. It's not something you can just change overnight.
The program is complete. The Talia you knew no longer exists.
I but, you but, he or she but.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to Who Are You, a Babylon 5 watchcast hosted by two friends who have gotten to know each other over the show Babylon 5. I'm Xhafer.
And I'm Laura.
And today we are going to play a little plot poker.
Yeah, this is the debut of that name, isn't it?
It is the debut of that name. We've done this segment a couple of times now, and there is an excellent story about it and where the name comes from on our Discord. And I will not shortchange anyone from going and discovering it, which is also my way of just pushing you to go to the Discord.
Join our premium club that doesn't cost anything.
Cost a dime.
We're doing this wrong. Yeah, there's a very good story about how one of our friends in the Discord came up with the name Plot Poker.
Yes.
We really appreciate
their
it.
name in the Discord appears to be a real name, so I won't say it on air to respect their privacy. But yes, excellent name, and we really liked it. And we both read it, and we're all like, well, we have to use this.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
It's perfect. It was decided.
Yeah.
So that's what we're running with. Plot Poker is the name of this segment.
Yeah, so what do we do in Plot Poker, Xhafer?
So we have a bunch of packs of the old Babylon 5 collectible card game. And we're going to open a couple more. We got 4 packs sitting in front of us each right now. The last of our box of the premiere set. We're going to buy a box of the next one, the Great War.
I can't wait.
Hopefully we will. Don't go on eBay and buy them before we have a chance.
Yeah, that would be very
listener.
rude. Don't do it. We're about to give you some very crinkly audio as we open these things.
So we're going to go ahead and open up some packs and add cards to one of 4 piles that we have in front of us. We have and not necessarily character because there's groups and things. Like, in fact, I just opened my first pack and Religious Cast is the first card I have. And that's
Good
going
group.
in this first pile
Yeah.
of subject matters, as it were. A thing, a person to arrive at the station to cause a problem, which is our second pile. Our problems are then solved in our third pile of Deus Ex Machinas. And then the final pile is the twist. We will each draw one from each pile and use it to craft a fake episode of Babylon 5, which we will then rate on a scale of Babylon's 1 to 5.
All of our episodes are Babylon 5s, though, right?
I mean, our last one was a pretty good episode, I feel. Let's see here.
Okay.
Oh, that's a fun little problem. I got the Na-Colleen feeder.
Ah, damn. I know that's in one of my
the
piles.
brain-eating monster?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got a discount Keither Sutherland from a couple episodes. Not Keither, Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
Lord Valho.
He got killed pretty quick, right? Or no, am I thinking of somebody else?
He supervised the duel between Londo and his buddy. All right. You finding anything fun so far?
I got some nightmares. You know who the face of nightmares is? It is not Sheridan from that episode where he had nightmares. It is Sinclair.
Huh.
Weird.
From the episode where he had nightmares? I got a Rifa in the chair. Some power posturing. Let's see. A war by popular decree. That's terrifying.
Hey, I finally got John Sheridan.
Hey, I don't have a John Sheridan. Look at
Yeah,
that.
Look at that. I also have one just called Human Captain.
So generic.
I don't think I've seen this captain yet. I don't recognize him.
All right. Well, in the A plot of our story, and I'm going to flip these cards over as we go, so if I stutter for a second, I apologize. I'm making something up. Minister Malachi, the Centauri Prime Minister, is involved in some issues with the Marcab fleet. So the Centauri have a Marcab fleet. It's one of the few remaining Marcab fleets. They fled the planet and actually didn't have the disease.
Oh, so we still have some alive in this universe. Wonderful.
There's a couple alive. There's a handful of ships, and they hear of everything that's happened, and they don't want to go to any of their Markab planets.
Fair.
Because they're so worried about the disease spreading there, and they figure they'd all be dead by now if they had it, so they must be safe. So they reach out to Minister Malachi of the Centauri Republic to secure a place for them to just be.
Okay. One of those old colony planets, maybe?
Yeah, they are not particularly happy about this. They're like, look, you got this disease thing. We're not 100% about what's going to happen with it. We really don't feel comfortable there. And how this is resolved is a base is established, which is actually a very convenient plot point for this story. They end up, a couple of the groups of the non-aligned worlds come together and establish a base in neutral territory, just kind of a small settlement for these Markab to go live on.
Oh, well, that's nice of them.
And in a twist, when the Markab arrive at the base, it's kind of an old structure there. They find some ruins, and there they find one of the lost triluminaries.
Oh, crazy.
What's it doing out here? That's so crazy.
Yeah. What were the Minbari up to?
Plot points, plot points, plot points.
Okay. Well, in the B story of this episode, Warren Keffer finds himself entangled in some internal strife with Earth back home. So he gets himself, maybe he goes and rescues a ship that's near Babylon 5 space. And it turns out that these people, whoever's on the ship, is wanted by Earth Alliance. They're a persona non grata, and there's an order for their arrest. But the command staff on Babylon 5 decide to exploit some opportunities that they have with some of the ambassadors, like perhaps Ambassador Delenn, to help get these people to safety, because they think that these people can help them uncover the conspiracies back home. We're very worried about these conspiracy theories that Sheridan's been tracking. And so they take the moment to utilize the new Ranger force that Sheridan has recently gotten in command of, and exploit that to get these people to safety. But all of this ends with, Earth Alliance and President Clark have been kind of routed, and in their anger and retaliation for this, they start a purge of the disloyal back home. Yeah. So it ends on a sinister note as some of our potential allies back home are taken out.
Okay. How do you feel about this episode?
I feel like this is a pretty standard episode of Babylon 5, right?
It does feel pretty standard. Maybe nothing special. Might be nice to visit the Markab again, because they're just gone now. So it might be nice to get a little bit of hope. I am interested to hear more about the progression of the Earth storyline there too, with the purging of the disloyal. And I'm glad Keffer finally gets something to do that's not be terrible. That's not fair. He's not terrible. He's not like a bad person. He's just boring as shit.
Yeah, he gets a lot of these set something in motion, but not really resolve it.
Be there for the important thing, but not when it actually happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a Babylon 3 episode to me.
That's fair, yeah. Feels real Babylon 3 out of 5 to me as well.
Yeah. Big average energy. Okay, well, that was a average episode of Babylon 5 that we created in Plot Poker. What do we think today's episode is going to be like? What do we have?
We have Season 2, Episode 20, Divided Loyalties. We open on Delenn and Sheridan picking up their personalized editions of Universe Today.
Your best source for information on events shaping the universe around us.
This is very cute.
This is fun.
It's not just, meet cutie, which it kind of is, because we know that they're getting cutesy together, but also this idea of a newspaper kiosk where I go and I recycle my old one, and then I get a fresh printed, personalized edition of the news. It's a very 90s idea.
It's got to smell good. Yeah, it's a very 90s idea to think that newspaper is still going to be around. But I'm here for it. I'm the person who has tried ebooks and completely shunned them because I miss the feel, the texture of paper in my hands. I will not read digital versions of books. I only am interested in reading physical copies of books. It is part of the experience.
I definitely read a physical book better than I read an ebook. I retain the material better just holding something. I don't know what my problem is.
I mean, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yums.
For sure. I mean, I love a good, like, oh, I can just check this out from my library on my tablet right now. Okay, that's great. But there's a lot of books that I want to own because I want to read it better. So, okay, yeah, they get their personalized newspapers.
Sheridan's got extra baseball news. He wants to know about that World Series.
Yeah, very cute. Delen's extra is the Eye on Minbar section.
Yeah, there's a little bit about how, as a Minbari, culturally, it's tradition to just know what you need to know. And to just trust society with that. And then she notes that she gets to find out stuff before she needs to know from the paper.
Yeah, so even though she kind of speaks of her culture all the time as like, this is how we do it, and it's wonderful, and it works, she kind of admits here, like, yeah, it does kind of suck.
Yeah.
Like, I like knowing stuff.
We cut over to Mars, and we see a ranger get a data crystal who needs to get it to Babylon 5.
Yeah, we're in like a sewer and flowing water, and there's a hot pursuit happening.
Those Mars sewer sets will see some more use.
Yeah. We get a big like many Bothans died to bring you this information kind of vibe off this guy. But yeah.
And we go to theme. We come back to a random conversation about missing trees in a bathroom.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I do love that on Babylon 5, we know what bathrooms look like. Like, I do love this because you think about Deep Space Nine and it's like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, they beam the poop out of people.
I'm against the whole idea.
Yeah, they're not bold enough to do a bathroom scene in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's not true. I know there's been bathroom scenes. Don't come at me. But we get the Pak'ma'ra use-only toilet, which...
Yeah.
This Pak'ma'ra comes out of the toilet and he does this little, like, pee shivers. I couldn't stop laughing. Like... So we now know about the Pak'ma'ra and their pee shivers, and they need a special bathroom.
It's the little things in Babylon 5. It's the world building.
Yeah, I mean, that world building, top notch. But, like, why are we talking shop in the bathroom again?
Well, I mean, Garibaldi is, like, low-key scanning for listening devices in the background, and then gives the all clear. So they're just in an area that they assume won't be bugged.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Can you imagine bugging the bathroom and then being the person that has to sit there and listen to the bug in the bathroom?
No. Nope. There's a reason I don't work for the NSA, and there's a bunch of other stuff, but that's on the list.
Yeah,
it's
obviously.
near the bottom, but it's on the list.
Well, I don't blame you.
And God, if you're the NSA agent, you know, because they're all up in our phones, right? And all the people that use their phone in the bathroom, and I'm not talking just to like play games, but like talk to other people on the phone in the bathroom. I don't know how often that comes up in the men's restroom, but it comes up a lot in the ladies.
Yeah.
It's weird and I don't like it.
In an airport once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is I just really dislike public bathrooms.
Yeah, for sure.
Like at work, I will purposely go to a floor that has almost no one on it when I'm in the building.
Yeah.
To use the bathroom because it is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will turn the light on for the first time. The seats still have like the cleaning like paper on them and stuff.
Yeah.
You know you're breaking the seal.
Man, speaking of this bathroom, like what's with the blinky lights above the urinals? I was cracking up. But I love this bathroom. We got to use this bathroom set all the time.
We see it a couple times, yeah. And we've seen it before, too. But after they get the clear that there are no listening devices in the room, they talk in earnest about bringing Talia into the resistance cell. And then like, oh, no reason, but let's wait like 4 days.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, you know,
let's wait 4 more days just to make sure she's not a traitor. No reason. Definitely not ruining the entire plot of the show.
Right. Definitely not. Definitely probably not. Yeah. So speaking of Talia, she and Susan are having a nice dinner or lunch or something.
Breakfast.
Oh, it's breakfast. Oh, even better.
It's breakfast. There's nothing to read into yet.
Right.
There was a lot of internet commentary about what does and does not happen in this episode. And
right, I'm
there
sure.
are some very specific notes about it. So when we get there, we'll get there.
Okay. So, Susan gets a call. She's got to get off to work. But as she's leaving, Talia mentions, hey, I got to find a place to stay for tonight because something's messed up. The air recycler or something is messed up in her suite.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivana was like, well, you just come stay with me. Let's have a sleepover.
Yeah, just go crash at my place.
Pillow fight.
I have an actual shower.
So, yeah, they're going to have a sleepover later. And Ivanova heads to CNC, where there is a ship that came out of the jump gate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not moving. Something's wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, the last time this happened, everyone on it was dead. So I don't know why they dock with it.
Nah, not a good idea.
Right. They do.
But hey, they do.
Yeah, they bring it in. There is one person alive. We know that. There's somebody alive and unconscious on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
And as Franklin and Garibaldi are checking it out and the unconscious person is being brought off the ship, we see that it's Lita Alexander. She's back. Garibaldi reminds everybody what happened with Lita Alexander, the history with Kosh, that she stuck her hand inside the suit and then
touched Kosh's mind.
Yeah, she thought she saw Sheridan trying to murder him, but it turns out it wasn't Sheridan. And we got through a whole pilot.
Yeah, nice little recap of the pilot, yeah.
Yeah. So they take her to med lab, but when she becomes conscious, she is going to have none of Franklin's medicinal head stroking.
It's all right. I'm a doctor.
Nope.
She is not into it, and she is very upset. She grabs like some sort of a medical device.
Scalpel, knife, some kind of... It looked sharp to me.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a pointy end. And threatens Franklin with it and says that she will not be alone with any one of them. And she needs to talk to Sheridan right now because somebody on the command staff is a traitor.
Dun, dun, dun! They discuss in Sheridan's office and she catches the command staff on what she's been up to for the last 2 years. She wants to get to Vorlon space and was working with the Mars Revolutionary Group, just has like a side gig to earn money.
Mm-hmm.
When she intercepted a message about the Psy-Corps sleeper program, implanting a personality so deep that it can't be found, but a telepathic message with the key can cause it to surface, essentially deleting the person and replacing them with someone new.
Mm-hmm.
Lita offers to try the password on the staff and those close to them.
She knows somebody here has got this sleeper personality. They didn't find out who, but we know it exists and we know one of them is here.
What do you think the password is?
Kumbaya?
Oh man, that would be fun to know, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we don't know what the password is. I hope it's something stupid or something maybe literary, maybe like Jabberwocky or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something unrelated. It's got to be like a word that you wouldn't just... Well, it can only be telepathically sent.
Right.
It can't... Overhearing it is not enough. It has to be sent directly into the mind by a telepath.
Yeah. So it's not like you just stumble across it and all of a sudden your sleeper's awakened. Yeah.
But we've seen like Bester just talking in people's minds all the time, like very rudely. So it has to be a word that you wouldn't just say. Mm-hmm. Like you'd have to know that this happens.
Yeah.
Especially probably with other cultures.
Is it the same word for every sleeper? Because that's a long password spreadsheet to keep up with. If it's not.
Yeah. That's a lot of Excel.
Yeah.
Your VLOOKUP is off by one letter and it just throws the entire thing. Use index match. Pro tip.
You're transmitting, it's not working because you've gotten off one line. Yeah. Anyway, so Sheridan goes to meet with Delenn in the gardens. And this is where it becomes clear about the continuity in this episode.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah, they talk about the more colorful parts of language.
Mm-hmm. And we get the classic abso-freaking-lutely that Delenn dropped on us in the previous episode on HBO Max.
Fix it, HBO Max.
That's the next Babylon 5 hashtag, right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll get JMS on that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure
By the way, while you're not mad at me.
I'm sure he has nothing else to do.
Doesn't seem like a particularly busy guy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, so they're talking about language. He gets called away.
Garibaldi and Sheridan talk for a bit, and maybe his second was the sleeper, and he was already activated.
I mean, that is a really easy theory to jump to, right? Like,
yeah.
And it would sure make Garibaldi feel better right? About
Yeah.
that whole
About
business.
missing all of the obvious stuff in hindsight. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a comforting thought, but we wouldn't have much of an episode if that was the answer, would we?
No. But over in Ivanova's quarters, she talks with Talia about Lita, and they knew each other, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We find out Lita might have been a psychop, but she didn't have the taste for it.
Yeah. She's got the eyes, those really dark eyes.
Yeah.
She could pull the look off for sure.
The literally staring into your soul eyes.
I think it's funny that Talia's reaction is like, oh, I kind of knew her at school, you know, but she doesn't say, oh, she was stationed here before me, right? Like, that seems to escape her entirely, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You know someone's mentioned it to her.
Yeah. It was in a brief somewhere for sure. Garibaldi asks Zach to move Lita, but then 2 other guards do it. Suspicious Zach.
Yeah.
And someone attacks Lita. Ooh, who can we trust?
Yeah.
Now, okay. We've seen this. We know how this ends.
Right.
We saw this before, and we both remember how this ends.
Sure.
So there was no air of mystery for us watching this episode. If you are watching for the first time, like our friends over at Babylon 5 for the first time are, I'm really looking forward to them getting this episode.
Yeah.
But there's an important aspect that is missing here, which is the internet community around the show as it was airing.
Okay.
And this is something that we can't replicate anymore because the show's been off the air for so long. And the internet community here knew that Takashima was supposed to be the sleeper.
Oh, okay.
Originally, Takashima was going to be the one who shot Garibaldi. And then later in the season, this would happen. So there wouldn't be the comeuppance immediately.
Wow.
You'd know Takashima was the traitor for like 15, 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Before anything happened with it. Everyone knew Ivanova replaced Takashima.
Yeah, so...
And he had talked about Takashima was going to be the person when that episode aired at the end of season 1, 2, whenever they show us who it was. I forget if it was the season finale or the season premiere. JMS knows this. He knows the fans assume it's Ivanova. And that's why there's so much play with the sleeper being Ivanova in this episode.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
It is meant to lure a very specific set of his audience into the false presumption that they are right. It was 100% designed that way. This is him saying gotcha to everybody on Usenet.
Okay. I do want to go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
Do you remember being fooled by this? I mean,
No.
obviously it's been a long time. Yeah, I don't remember this fooling me at all.
I don't think I remember like pinning Talia because it's kind of out of left field at a certain point, especially because I was younger and wasn't picking up on stuff. It's very obvious that it's Talia to me watching it now.
Yeah. I think, and obviously memory is imperfect, especially when I was a child when I watched this, but I feel like I always clocked it as Talia. And I think that was maybe just general distrust of Psychor.
I think I thought it was Zach.
Oh, really?
To be perfectly honest, when I was a kid.
Well, and they set Zach up in this scene as a possible. And also he's still doing the Night Watch thing. And they point that out. And we have weird feelings about Night Watch. We don't know what they're up to yet, but it can't be good. So
yeah, and Zach, I mean, as a kid, I didn't understand this, but Zach just kind of shows up and then just keep showing up.
Yeah.
And knowing that Jeff Conway was actually a famous actor and that this was fun for him and all of that stuff was completely lost on me as a child.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea who he was. He was just a dude who showed up and then kept showing up after everything went to shit. Like things start going to shit, Jeff Conway shows up. And so it's just like, it's Zach. It's totally Zach.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that. I didn't even think about Zach being a possibility until you mentioned just now that, hey, he wasn't present. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Shit, he wasn't.
So anyways, Lita escapes the attack and goes into hiding. Sheridan is going to let her do the password thing, but they have to find her and protect her. Lita reaches out to Delenn for help since she wouldn't be compromised by Psychor. And they had worked together before, so they had kind of a standing relationship.
Yeah, she has good feels about Delenn from the pilot.
Yeah. Ivanova and Talia catch up, where she is afraid to tell Sheridan and the other senior staff about her latent telepathy. So this is something Talia has known about for a while.
Yeah.
She confided this into Talia a while ago, but it's not something that Sheridan has known.
Yeah. Sheridan does not have any idea. Did Sinclair know? I think
Sinclair knew. I
feel
think it
like-
came up in that one episode where he was demanding everyone get scanned.
Yeah.
And she had the weird vision about her mom, the weird dream vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
With Lou Welch as one of the guys in her dream with a
Oh,
mask on.
yes. Yeah. I feel like we did talk to Daddy Sinclair about it, but Sheridan hasn't come up yet. So
Delenn catches up with Sheridan and passes along the message from Lita. Ivanova is waiting for Sheridan in his quarters. They do a really great cut, like a take, where like he just like rushes past her as she's sitting on the couch, and then it's all like you see her in the background, but it's just like how it would happen in real life, where you just like you don't expect anyone to be there. You walk right past them, and then you see them, and you're like, oh hey, and you stop and you turn around.
Mm-hmm.
I speak from personal experience at us in Las Vegas.
Right.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It felt like that to me.
Yeah. Very real, very believable.
Yep. She tells him the truth that she's a latent telepath, all that stuff. He's like, why didn't you tell me before? And it's all like, fuck off. You know why I didn't tell you before.
Yeah, like really, like...
You don't ask someone why they don't tell you that they're a latent telepath, Sheridan. God.
Yeah.
It's not a question you ask in polite society.
He's making it about him. He's like, why couldn't you trust me enough to tell me this? What did I do wrong? Come on, Sheridan. Get it together. It's not about you.
Right. I know you're the white dude in charge, so you think it is.
Word.
He has a Kosh vision flashback to when
Yeah.
Ivanova says something, the exact line from that dream. And before he can follow up on it, Delenn calls to get everyone together for Lita.
Yeah.
They start, Sheridan goes first, then Franklin, and then Garibaldi is rude as fuck.
Very rude. You don't do this.
There's like, Ivanovas is going to go last, and they start calling in everyone in close proximity to the senior staff. We get a cavalcade of extras. We see that Babylon 5 model all bronzed up in the office.
Mm-hmm.
You know who we don't see? Keffer.
Yeah, and he gets a credit and everything. He should have been in this episode, by God. You could have had a moment with him and Sheridan of, Sheridan being like, not doing any more of your extracurriculars, right? Okay, good boy.
Run along.
That would have been a good one. We get Corwin. He's a delight because he makes me giggle.
Lita leans into scanning Ivanova, who finally agrees. She's not the sleeper, and Lita knows her secret.
Yeah.
It's like, you're blocking me? She like immediately knew.
If there's one telepath who's going to know your secret, the one who's like on the run is probably not the worst. Like,
yeah,
as long as they can stay ahead of Psychor and Psychor doesn't like drag it out of them later, you're probably fine. So,
yeah. Talia walks in and blammo, just like instantly. It's all like, oh, hey, Talia. And she just like, Lita just instinctively sends the password and Talia just loses her shit. She tries to kill Lita. She shouts a bunch of propaganda about the Corps mother, the Corps father, and just gets arrested. Like, it is just, oh, hey guys, just starts blasting.
We got two like really good unhinged performances out of both her and Lita in this episode. Because, Lita kind of loses it when she's alone with Franklin, which
I read in the notes that she had a baby 3 weeks before this was filmed.
God bless her. That sounds hard.
And she's like running around and doing shit. And I'm just like, dear God.
That looks hard. And now I'm sad. But you know what? There's a lot of like weird feelings you have 3 weeks after having a baby that you could really channel into that.
I will trust your word on that matter.
At least in my personal experience. It's not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get really good performances out of both of them to kind of cap off Andrea Thompson's last episode.
The senior staff gathers to figure out what's been compromised. Dr. Franklin's telepath underground is completely shot.
Yeah.
Talia was the one who protected it in the first place. It's done.
Yeah. But I mean, they had kind of tapered that off. Its presence was not on the station anymore. So
yeah.
Yeah. But Franklin might have a bad rap to face with Psychor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has just been smuggling Narn refugees for months at this point, too.
Yeah, yeah. So they've been diverted
We get some flashbacks to remind us of Talia, Kosh, and the Vicar.
Yeah, we do.
Garibaldi's like, I'm going to follow up on that. And then we never see Talia again.
Yeah, I did wonder, like, since that is kind of a loose thread that didn't really get a resolution, like, what was the direction we were going with that?
I don't know. It might be somewhere. I don't remember reading anything.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not apparent. It's not like obvious to me.
Yeah.
Where that could have gone. But, you know, it's maybe it was a backdoor to be able to bring her back later in some sort of form.
Yeah. Presumably. Ivanova goes to see Talia, who confirms that the old Talia is fucking dead and the new Talia is the fucking worst.
I love that we vamped up her hair for this. Like, Talia's hair has been, you know, very prim and proper, flat ironed, blonde. And it's,
give me that hair cast, Laura.
But now that she's evil Talia, we have puffed it up, we have vamped it up, and we've made her sexier because she's evil.
Which is,
now.
Of course, the 90s female sci-fi version of the goatee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like, you know,
vamped up hair.
How we know this character is evil is either they have a goatee or they're very sexy now.
God, did I say female? Can I cut that? Can I retake that, please?
Yeah,
I feel gross. It's because she's evil and gross. And I'm really mad at her for what she does to Ivanova.
Yeah, me too. Like, I think Ivanova has, you know, she's been through her own stuff. So I think she's like, knows she's in here doing this for herself. She knows that this person will not give her anything. Yeah.
It's 100% for her because they sleep together this episode.
Yeah. So
it happens.
Yeah.
It is canonical. They bone this episode. It has not happened before. It happens the once. And it's the night where Talia wakes up and reaches over.
Yeah.
And Ivanova's not there, which is another thing that's there to make us think that Ivanova is the person who did the attack.
Right.
That's when.
Yeah.
That's when it happens. And very specifically, people were like, why didn't you make it more implicit? Why didn't you make them kiss? And JMS said, some people like to dip their toes in the water. I like to jump in the deep end.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, though, where this could also be to kind of get past people. Like, there's some...
Yeah.
If you are a certain type of person...
This is 1995.
Right. And if you're a certain type of person...
Has the Roseanne kiss happened yet? That was the first lady kiss on TV, right?
Was it?
Was Roseanne?
I don't know.
I think so.
This has got to be before the one on Deep
Nine?
Space Nine. Yeah. It's got to be before that.
Oh, yeah. It'd definitely be before. I think, or maybe not. It might be right around then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the
timing might be close.
Maybe they're happening in parallel. We don't remember, but...
Yeah.
You know, a middle America, a certain type of person who wants to pretend gay people don't exist can absolutely do that in this episode. Like, they're just two girlfriends, you know, whatever. Like,
the stuff I read was not, why didn't you take the opportunity to be the first lesbian kiss on television? I didn't read anything about that. So it had to have already happened by the time this aired.
Okay.
Because no one was giving him grief about that I could see.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it could have been a little more explicit because it's definitely not something I picked up on as a child, that there was romantic interest between the two of them, honestly. Not until rewatches. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. That could have been a thing. I don't know. And if the reboot was actually like following the same characters and following the same sort of path, I think you would absolutely be bolder with this today.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a little bit left on the episode. Lita goes to see Kosh. Is the last thing that happens in the episode.
Yeah.
She's kept his secret. She's kept his secret in a place in her mind so deep and buried that no one could ever find it. And she let Kosh sing her to sleep every night. It's the only time she would allow herself to remember. And she requests to see him, the real him. And we get slow reflection in the glass of the breather to credits.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really mysterious and spooky.
It is. We get that reveal soon, though.
Yeah, we will. But it's at this point, it's like, why is Kosh the most reclusive alien on the station? And, presumably that whole thing was a violation in some way. Just completely acquiesce. And he's like, yes, you can see me. He has every reason not to, as far as we know. But it makes him just even more of an enigma and a puzzle that he just is like, yeah, of course. Yeah. To this telepath who just showed back up after 2 seasons.
I mean, she touches mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They had something special.
Yep. How do you feel about this one on a scale of Babylon's 1 to 5?
Oh, man. I wish that the, mystery had played well for me.
Yeah.
It just didn't for me. And I think that maybe if I was watching it in the context that you described of everybody having assumed that it would be the new commander character, maybe I would have been fooled by that. But in this context, I don't feel like I've ever not known who the sleeper was. So for me, that kind of knocks this back into average territory. It's not a bad episode.
Yeah.
But it feels like that was so important to try to fool us, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the conflict. I like Lita coming back. I like the dramatic way that Talia goes out. Just it felt like that big plot point didn't hit for me. What about you?
Agreed. Same. This is a 3 out of 5. Right in the middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
Much like our plot poker episode. Stuff happens, and important stuff happens, but it just feels like it's a mystery for the sake of the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hold the time frame in which it was made and TV standards at that time against the show.
Yeah,
I can hold them against TV executives all day, and I do. But I would have appreciated a more implicit telling of Ivanova and Talia's budding romance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that to me is a big factor too. Like, it's
implicit, not explicit, to be clear there too.
It was just, if we'd seen her a little more in the season, if we'd seen them having more breakfasts or running into each other more, working with each other more, having coffee in her quarters or having just a glass of wine.
Well, I mean, part of it
often.
Was Andrea Thompson's availability.
Sure.
Wanting to do more stuff, not being able to make it all the time, that kind of stuff was part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, even if it was just like Talia reaches over and we see like Ivanova getting up, like just a little bit more, just like make it clear.
Mm-hmm.
Don't leave it up to debate. So you have to clarify it on the internet later.
Yeah. Yeah. But I understand it's a product of the time, so I don't hold it
for sure
against it.
Like a show like Harley Quinn could not exist back then. Mm-hmm. People's heads would have exploded.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Harley Quinn, if you don't watch fucking Harley Quinn, it's so good.
Man, I'm just not in the superhero versus. Like, that's a lot of investment.
You don't have to be.
Okay.
It's completely unrelated to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, especially this most recent season, their version of the Joker is the only version of the Joker I'm ever interested in ever getting screen time again.
Okay. I'm down with that. There are some pretty tiresome versions of the Joker out there.
100%. And this is the most interesting, refreshing take I've ever seen of the character.
Okay. I'm interested. And you mentioned, there's a show like Harley Quinn now. Like, even in children's media, which I consume a lot of, having a child, we've watched The Owl House recently. That's a cartoon on the Disney network. And the main character is a girl, and she is dating a girl throughout the show. Like, it develops in the show, and it's natural, and there's nothing weird about it. And the show doesn't treat it like it's an anomaly or not okay at any point. And it's just that representation that I think is good for those kids to be seeing, so that they know yes, gay people exist, and it's okay that they exist.
Yeah.
So
Steven Universe. So good.
Steven Universe, that's another one. Yeah. But anyway, that's the ways that I would change the episode if I could.
All right. Well, next up, we've got season 2, episode 21, comes the Inquisitor.
Yeah, this is an iconic episode, I think, but that doesn't mean I necessarily like it. I don't know.
I have not watched it yet. I mean, obviously I watched it a while ago, but I haven't watched it as part of my notes and our run on the podcast. So we'll see how I feel about it this time. Jakar rallies the Narns on the station to uphold the resistance efforts against the Centauri. Delenn undergoes a torturous test of her allegiance to Kosh. All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy Siegel, for our lovely theme music. JeremySiegel42.bandcamp.com. You can find more of his work there.
And thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on the Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Join the conversation with us on our Discord server, where we'll talk about all kinds of stuff. And then also shoot us some email over to whoareyoub5@gmail.com. We have our upcoming season 2 recap. You've still got time, if you're listening to this episode, to get us your thoughts on season 2.
Yeah.
And we would love to read those on the air. And then if you just got other stuff to say, we will save it for our next mailbag segment, which will be sometime towards the start of season 3, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's also 2 certificates of graduation from Michael Garibaldi's homeschool security waiting for us in there.
Yeah.
I printed mine up and put it up on the wall here.
Oh, fantastic. I need to print
in
mine.
My office.
I got to get in there and print mine. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. See you next week, Internet.
Bye.